combination of cold high pressure over southern Canada with one of two low pressure areas, one right now in Kentucky, have produced snow and ice across the Midwest. Good afternoon, I'm Rich Johnson. That same storm will likely spread some ice and snow to the northeast. And just a reminder for you tuning in for our classroom weather, we will resume with that schedule tomorrow at this time. Well, more on the storm. We are looking at a major storm heading through the Midwest. In fact, some snow totals upwards of 4 to 9 inches already, stretching from northern Indiana, northern Ohio, into northern Pennsylvania and around New York City. This may be the first white Christmas you have seen in 12 years. We take you to Philadelphia, where a snow emergency was declared early this morning, eliminating parking on major streets and easing the way for commuters and snowplows. Speeds were reduced to 25 miles per hour on the Delaware River bridges. Also, the Philadelphia International Airport crews worked throughout the night to clear runways. Motorists battle icy roads in Indiana as well this morning. The city of Muncie declared a weather emergency, closing City Hall after the storm knocked out power to many homes and street lights. Tremendous amount of ice covered roads, and police blocked traffic near downed power lines. Schools and offices were also shut down across the city. Even right now, we have seen upwards of 3 inches around Indianapolis. Some of the other totals around St. Louis, 4 inches. You're still seeing the very back edge of this storm. It should begin to taper down fairly quickly. A larger view showing all of the snow stretching from the Midwest into the Mid-Atlantic. We can show you that anywhere from a general 4 to 9 inch snowfall has now covered areas of northern Indiana, and we will be updating this shortly across northern Ohio and generally north of Turnpike or across 81 through eastern Pennsylvania or the New Jersey Turnpike. Just a few of the major arteries out there that will be clogged with very heavy snow.
Alongside Bill Keneally, as we keep you up to date on what's going on with this particular storm and the impact it will make in the northeast quadrant of the country. Here's the radar review throughout that entire area, from heavy thunderstorms in Florida to the snow, sleet, and freezing rain throughout much of the Ohio Valley and the mid-Atlantic states. We'll give you a tour with the snow tapering off from St. Louis to Festus, Missouri, while still coming down a pretty good clip around Indianapolis. Cincinnati, it's been rain most of this adventure, and rain all the way down to around Nashville, rain all the way into North Carolina, but snowing around Columbus, Cleveland, with about 6.5 inches of snow, still snowing there. Snow and freezing drizzle, icing up the roadways around Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to Philly. Baltimore, right now freezing drizzle, but raining in D.C. on southward into Virginia. At least you get a break for travel plans there. Farther to the north, it is a parade of snow coming on through areas of New York City. It's snowing. In fact, at times they have gotten snow at the rate of 1 inch an hour. It looks like they've got more snow in the offing. Would not be surprised with that block in the atmosphere that Rich was describing. We might see a lot more snow, and your guarantee of a white Christmas if this keeps up. Again, there will be icy roads, especially south of Interstate 80. From Harrisburg to Allentown, do not be surprised to find as much as 8 to 14 inches of snow with this storm system. Philly, you saw the scenes from there earlier. I think you've got a lot more yet to come. The snow all the way into Boston right now. The hills of northwest Connecticut could pick up as much as, again, 8 to 15 inches, maybe even more, as the storm continues to wrap on up. The snow into the Capital District all the way back to Buffalo, lighter amounts farther to the north, and again some thunderstorms rumbling from Naples, dropping on down to Key West. In fact, around Naples, 60-mile-an-hour winds with those thunderstorms in the last hour, batting down the lawn furniture, and more thunderstorms spreading offshore from the east coast of Florida. Our forecast looks like a messy one, and concentrated primarily through the afternoon into tomorrow for the northeast and areas of New England. coming into play with cold air, you've got one big mess on your hands. For much of the western half of the country, fairly quiet with the exception of some rain flirting with the northwest and some light snow in the northern plains. This is the main story in town, and let's describe it for you in great detail. First of all, let's tell you what it's done. It's dropped quite a bit of snow in the midsection of the country. Back through St. Louis, about 4 inches. Indianapolis, about 3. Now, the Big Apple only has seen 1, but there's more in the offing there. Even on back and across northern Ohio, as much as 8 inches. This storm system, again, there's a lot of activity going on there right now, I'm sure, for the next couple of days. See, what we got here is this low right in here. Does it zip on across? No, it kind of stops right there. That means this system coming off the eastern seaboard will have nowhere to go. So it's going to be left affecting northeast and New England with some more snow. Here's the very latest satellite perspective, drawing the moisture in from the Gulf and from the Atlantic. Here's the main low sitting over Kentucky, spinning around the clouds and the precipitation back into the plain states. Much of the west is looking great from the Rockies to the west coast, enjoying a lot of sunshine on this Tuesday. But look at the mess farther to the east. Let's see if we can break it down for you. As we zoom in, we'll describe the lows about right in here. You'll be able to see a counterclockwise twist in the precipitation echoes. Snow and freezing rain over southern Indiana, southern Illinois, back through Carbondale, while we're picking up some rain in D.C., freezing rain in Baltimore, back to Pittsburgh, snow into Allentown, all the way into around Albany, Boston, Hartford, and then some thunderstorms rumbling across southern areas of Florida, Sarasota, Bradenton, Naples, Fort Myers, and some pouring offshore. There's the current map. There's a lot of cold air feeding in with the system. Teens, 20s, 30s, 33 at St. Louis, but 68 at Charleston. You get a feel that front has still got a ways to go. Wind chills drop on down, even below 0 around Detroit, 5 degrees below 0. Our forecast through the balance of today into tomorrow.
New Jersey, and even a break in the action moving in. You know, the real coastal low hasn't developed yet, so we're getting a lot of warm air running over a very cold air mass now, or at least cold, not very cold, but cold enough in the northeast, and some lightening up around Harrisburg and Allentown, but then the real heavy stuff moves in, and it is even falling as freezing rain and sleet in parts of southwest Pennsylvania. Let's check the wintry travel forecast for you, and you're not going to get out of the coast, and also high pressure to the north, creating a scenario that's just really one of the major storms you'd expect any time, and certainly the strongest so far this season. We had a nor'easter that gave us a lot of rain on the coast back in the middle of November, and even rain in most of New England, east of the Hudson River, really. Some couple of inches later on, there was over a foot of snow in parts of New York and Pennsylvania, but mainly a rain event. Now, this one's going to be an equal opportunity type of a snowstorm. Folks all the way down to the coastline getting the snow, as well as inland. It's just that south of about Philadelphia to Baltimore, you're going to see freezing rain and sleet, but even there, you're eventually going to turn over to snow and probably get several inches. So there it is, the old low that gave up to, say 8 to 10 inches of snow to parts of Oklahoma and Texas yesterday, and now beginning to play itself out, even though it's snowing heavily still in Indiana, and we're getting some pretty heavy snow in Ohio. Well, the new low is developing on the coast, and this one's going to take over. Let's take a look at some of the totals that we see. Amherst, Ohio, 8, and Logansport, Indiana, 7 inches of snow. And there you have it. As Pennsylvania, 4 or 5 inches in New Hope, Pennsylvania, and an inch or 2 already on the Connecticut shoreline. Some of that snow moving into Cape Cod. A little bit of freezing rain, sleet mixed to Trenton, Wrightstown, New Jersey, down toward the Harrisburg area. And we're getting a bit of a break in the action. Now, this could be a faker for you. Don't get fooled by this break in the action moving toward New York City and northern New Jersey now, because heavier precipitation starts coming in, and then this whole pattern could change as a brand new low begins to form on the Atlantic coast. You'll be reinstituting a new area of very heavy precipitation on the coastline, and a lot of that snow moving through New York. But right now, mainly light. It gets heavier around Pittsburgh. This is all going to fill in as time goes on, but still that threat of freezing rain, sleet greatest central, southern New Jersey, southeast PA, Philadelphia, Atlantic City, and some ice pellets could even wander into Long Island and coastal New York City as we go on through. Take a look at Island, and some of the levels predicted on the Jersey Shore, Long Island Sound, and Massachusetts are about a foot or so above the normal flood stage. So minor to moderate coastal flooding is what they're talking about right now, starting with the high tide around Bridgeport, Connecticut, and New York, 5 to 8 p.m. tonight, and maybe even higher with that tide by tomorrow morning if that low doesn't get out to sea a lot quicker. With the coastal flood watch, gale warnings are in effect. Merrimack River, much the same area down to Delaware Bay and Fenwick Island in Delaware. A little bit of snow in the Cascades of Washington, and heavy snow at times in Indianapolis back into Belleville, Illinois. Well, your snow begins to come off Lake Michigan by tonight, but the big doings on the map, with a little bit of sleet freezing rain to the south, the snow heavy New York, Long Island, Boston, up to Hartford.